America's Black Forum is brought to you by AT&T. America's Black Forum, host James Brown, and commentators Julian Bond and Armstrong Williams.
It's been months since 4 white police officers were acquitted of fatally shooting African immigrant Amadou Diallo. The Diallo family reacts today on America's Black Forum.
I would think that Americans, white or black, Jew or Gentile, should be concerned when policemen are just recklessly taking the lives of people. We want to make it abundantly clear that if a jury did not find evidence to convict and find guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, it does not mean, nor should it infer, that there was not wrongdoing there.
The show of support has been overwhelming. Thousands of African Americans have protested the verdict on the streets of New York and in the nation's capital. Civil rights activist Al Sharpton and others have called for a boycott and a federal investigation. Congressman Charles Rangel has asked for New York cops to be placed under federal monitoring. The question is, what's going on now? And hello, everyone. I'm James Brown, and this is America's Black Forum. In the commentator chairs this week, NAACP Chairman and college professor Julian Bond, and national spokesman for a Congress of Racial Equality, Niger Ennis. My guest today via satellite from New York, Mr. Sekou Diallo and Ms. Kadiatou Diallo, the parents of Amadou Diallo. And here in the studio here in Washington, Democratic Congressman Charles Rangel from New York. And we certainly welcome you to the show. And let me start first with the parents, Mr. and Ms. Diallo. The question is, emotionally and spiritually, how are you guys doing right now?
Difficultly, since the verdict was announced in Albany, queued on these 4 police officers, we are passing a very difficult time, and we are still waiting for the federal action.
Given the verdict and your feelings right now, what are your expectations? What do you expect will happen from this point?
Well, frankly speaking, we have done everything with humility, and we want them to know that Amadou was a human being, and no one was deserved to have this kind of atrocity, brutally and recklessly killed, and these 4 officers been acquitted for no wrongdoing, and it's outrageous. We hope that the federal involvement will take place so that we will prevent this from happening again from innocent people throughout the community at large.
Mr. and Mrs. Diallo, in addition to the federal action, which you hope will occur, are you going to pursue some civil remedy against these officers, against the city of New York?
This will be in the hands of attorney for the civil case. As for this point of time, we are mostly concerned about the criminal case, to see that those police officers is being brought to justice, to face punishment for the action and wrongdoing, murdering our son in a horrible way.
I want to ask the congressman a question, but before I do, I just want to say to Ms. Diallo and to Mr. Diallo that they have demonstrated such courage, dignity, and honor in dealing with a very tragic situation, and I applaud you for the way you've handled yourselves throughout this case, and I feel, and the whole community feels sympathetic for your plight and your tragedy.
I'd like to add to that, if you will, because they truly feel, as I guess all of us feel, that it's not just their son that we're thinking about. It's black kids all over this country. And the whole idea that you can be so innocent, so hardworking, in your own neighborhood, on your own steps. And what happened here is a very complicated legal thing. You know, people walk away from the verdict shocked. But if you know that there are no witnesses, including the victim, I mean, if you think about Amadou Louima, who was sodomized by the police, all of you know that if he had died, there would have been acquittals there because of the blue wall of silence where no policeman would ever even think about reporting wrongdoing. And so really what the Diallos are doing, it's for all of us who are fathers, for all of us who are black, for all of us who are sensitive, that there was a time that you had to fear the criminal. Now you have to fear the criminal and the police. And so I've said it so many times, I just want to say what Mr. Ennis has said, that the world pays tribute to you.
And very well stated indeed, and certainly we've got a number of issues we'd like to touch on with that. Congressman Rangel certainly was very instrumental in setting up a meeting between Al Sharpton and the Justice Department. When we come back, we'll find out what the outcome of that was and certainly talk with the Diallos, the parents of Amadou Diallo, about what they're hoping to accomplish from this point forward. We'll do that after this.
I suspected that there was going to be an acquittal because I think in this country, for black and white cops, there is probably a presumption that a perpetrator, realized real or not, is guilty.
The AT&T One Rate 7-cent plan. 7 cents a minute. All day, every day.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Nothing.
7 cents all day, every day?
So?
You're doing my thing.
No, I'm not.
Oh, really? Okay, who are these guys?
Neighbors.
Really? Okay, 7 cents a minute, all day, every day?
No, it's more like all day, every day.
Okay, don't make me come up there. All day, every day. Call 1-800-4-1-RATE to enroll.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven.
For the sake of our families and the future of our community, we must all be heard. Census 2000 helps determine what's needed in our community, like job training centers, schools, and healthcare facilities. So fill out Census 2000 and send it back. We must all be heard.
Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Watch Jess Atkinson weeknights on 9 Eyewitness News, where local news comes first.
The remarkable thing about planning for a secure financial future is the sooner you start, the easier it'll be to meet your goals. If you're at least 25 years old and not already receiving Social Security benefits, watch the mail for your Social Security statement about 3 months before your birthday. It will show which benefits you can expect when you become eligible. Use it to plan your financial future. The future is in your hands.
We are obviously very gratified with the verdict here today. There is no victories in this case. There was a loss of a life, and 4 police officers' lives are changed forever. We're proud of this jury who had the strength and courage to listen to the facts in this case and come back with the proper verdict.
And we welcome you back to America's Black Forum. That comment, of course, was from Pat Lynch with the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association. And Nigel, I know you wanted to pursue something a bit further with Congressman Rangel.
Yes, I wanted to find out, and I know that the Diallos are pursuing, along with Reverend Sharpton and Congressman Rangel, federal intervention for civil rights charges in this case. Classically, when we think about federal intervention on civil rights charges justification, we think about the 60s in the South, and we know about all-white juries acquitting criminals and prosecutors that were local prosecutors that were sympathetic to those juries. Here you have a case where you had a black prosecutor, Bob Johnson. You had 4 black women who were on the jury. One of them was a foreperson. One of them lived in the Bronx, and they acquitted. So where would be the parallel for federal intervention here?
First of all, we're searching for a jury of your peers, and to take a case out of the county, out of the jurisdiction where people know these police, and to take them to a place which is police friendly as opposed to those who know the circumstances violate something. The second and third thing is that this 48-hour rule where the perpetrators, if you will, the ones who fired the guns, don't have to say anything to anybody, is something that could be looked at constitutionally. The fact that the policeman never went to the grand jury, which means that what does this black, brown, yellow prosecutor take to the grand jury? He has no evidence. They haven't said why they did it, why they didn't do it. And the one witness that was there was killed. And so when you take all of these things, you can replicate that any place that you want, and you got acquittals.
Ms. Diallo, let me ask you, mindful of the pain that you're still experiencing with the loss of your son, do you in any way understand the framework of the law in terms of what the jurors were limited to in terms of reasonable doubt in making that decision? And even if you are mindful of that, what changes would you like to see made?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I would like to first make a point. Congressman Rangel mentioned about just now about what happened on the trial, the change of venue. The process in Albany, I noticed that another thing is that they failed to bring the jury at the Bronx to visit the site. I don't know why. And also another expert witness, the last one, they decided not to cross-examine him, to ask him whether it was right just for four of them to see the same thing. All of them said they see a gun in the hand of Amadou. All of them have seen the same position, and we didn't know why they did not choose to cross-examine him. And right now, we want the lawmakers really to look at this and try to make a point and solve the problem, because innocent man get killed for no reason. If this is go off today, tomorrow it might happen. And this is not supposed to be the right thing to do, just to make them believe that they did nothing wrong will not solve even their problem themselves, these officers who are involved in this matter.
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Diallo, this is Julian Bond. For the two of you, what would be a happy outcome of this terrible, terrible tragedy that you have suffered?
The happy outcome in this terrible, terrible tragedy is to see the policemen have been indicted by the federal government to bring into justice and to prosecute for the wrongdoing they have done. The American justice system, we are not expert in the system, but everybody understood there's nothing testified by these four police officers. Their testimony have nothing justified for their wrongdoing and killing Amadou Diallo.
And we're going to come back and complete this conversation with the Diallos and Congressman Charles Rangel. We'll do that after this on America's Black Forum.
My grandma was a daring young woman, driving her trusty General Motors car to California, then back to New York. That's where she met Grandpa. So when I announced I was off to California in my trusty GM car, Grandma knew I'd be just fine, and so did I.
General Motors, cars and trucks you can count on wherever life takes you. People in motion.
Hi, this is Robert Townsend, inviting you to join me in Acapulco for the Acapulco Black Film Festival. The vibe down there is going to be hot, hot, hot. Imagine chilling with big-time black producers, directors, actors, all in a laid-back atmosphere with lots of sun and fun. That's what the Acapulco Black Film Festival is all about. So, get ready.
Presented by Uniworld Films and the Black Filmmaker Foundation. For information, call 212-219-7267 or visit our website at www.abff.com.
Gordon Peterson has brought you 9 Eyewitness News reports from the sands of Kuwait. Award-winning stories from Belfast, Rome, and Cambodian refugee camps in Oranjapatep. He's reported from El Salvador, Nicaragua, South Africa. And while big stories have taken him around the world, he's always brought them home to you with a Washington point of view. Gordon Peterson, Weeknights on 9 Eyewitness News, where local news comes first.
This is the story about a group of kids who volunteered.
Doing something nice for someone. We fixed stuff. Did some art projects with the kids. We fixed up his house. We worked in the woods. Cleaned up the park.
Did something for the planet.
We just did it.
No other reason. And you know what? It was great.
At first, they didn't know each other.
Well, that didn't last long.
This guy is really funny.
Me? These are my new friends.
Are you into it?
Call 4-H or check out our website at areyouintoit.com.
Because breast cancer can strike any woman, every woman should take charge of her health. I'm Andrea Rohn. Please remind the women in your life to perform regular breast self-exams. And if they ask why, tell them they're worth it. That's what Buddy Check 9 is all about.
Get your free Buddy Check 9 kit today. Call 202-784-4000.
At Bell Atlantic, we know together we can make a difference in the fight against breast cancer. That's why we're proud to be a Buddy Check 9 partner.
In honor and respect of all those who stood with us since day one, I thank them with all my heart.
And we're back on America's Black Forum. We're talking with the parents of Amadou Diallo, who are joining us via satellite from New York City. And Ms. Diallo, let me ask you, are there any circumstances under which you would consider not filing a civil suit against the New York Police Department?
Well, as I said earlier, at the moment we are working with the representative of the community, like Congressman Rangel and Reverend Sharpton and Mr. Eric Holder. We are hoping to hear from the federal answer for this case in the criminal case. But the civil will be filed by the attorney representing the family, because we believe that the truth should come out and the case should be tried to bring the truth out.
Mrs. Diallo, would you and your husband share with us the foundation that you are setting up for the children in America and in Guinea?
Yes.
Yes, we plan to set a foundation jointly and to bring about justice and to teach the police people and for humanitarian.
For social justice and for education as well, for America and Guinea as well. So this is going to be having two bases in America, in New York, and also in Guinea, to help for social justice, education, and also religious and humanitarian purpose. The father and I will be setting up a webpage in Amadou's name, and then we will try to do something in Weller Avenue, because people are coming from all the states from the United States and overseas coming to see the site. We will be organizing that in these few days.
Mr. and Mrs. Diallo, both of you are Guineans. This country is foreign to you. What has this episode done to your perception of American justice?
It's just nice because, not because, I mean, the atmosphere have nothing much affect our feeling. And actually, the atmosphere here, the bad atmosphere, is about the justice. For the climate and the weather and the people, all nice. As since we came, and with your help and the help of all these elected officials, leaders like Congressman Charles Rangel, David Dinking, Reverend Al Sharpton, with the other elected official government, we don't feel homeless. We don't have homesick here. We feel like at home.
May I add also that we have received a broad-based support from the community at large. So we are away from home, but we are with the community. The community at large helped us to carry on at the most difficult time of our life. And we will pray that we should not see any other victim, innocent victim, to face this brutality like our late son have. And we pray that this can be a way to unite the people and solve the racial problem, to heal the people's hearts, and the police and the people should have a better future.
That we are from home to home. We find here exactly same cultural as our homeland, and we find the people are very, very cooperative and very, very attractive and very sympathized. So we are doing everything, not only for Amadou, but all for humanitarian. We don't want any other family to face the same as our family face again.
Understood.
We hope this will be the last. Thank you.
Ms. Diallo, Mr. Diallo, I want to again applaud you, particularly your foundation, when there's so many forces in our city that are playing political football with these tragedies and ripping our city apart. Your foundation seems to be a healing agent, bringing our city together. In particular, the idea of having a relationship between the police and the communities in which they serve, so there can be a better understanding and a bonding between those two elements. Because when there's friction between police and the inner city, the only winners are the criminals.
Yes, absolutely. And we are thankful for the people in the spirit of Amadou, our son, for them to stand but with calm and dignity. Really, we appreciate that. And we are looking forward to join our effort so that America will be better for all the people, because all the people are equal before God.
And Ms. Diallo, as we say goodbye to you and thanks for your time, you are truly just a remarkable couple with an awful lot of poise, having endured the worst of tragedies. We thank you so very much for being a very articulate spokesman, and we wish you the very best. God bless you.
We thank you very much. We thank the Black Forum
for having us in this program.
Here.
And we thank you for all what you are doing for the Black people in this country, and we hope that everything will be bright future for all the people.
And we certainly hope that as well. Thank you so very much. When we continue with America's Black Forum, we'll wrap up our conversation here with Congressman Charles Rangel. Back with more in a moment.
She doesn't talk about her bruises. She doesn't talk about her depression. She doesn't talk about her missing days at work. So how do you tell her you've noticed? If your friend is a victim of domestic abuse, talk to her about it, and don't stop talking until the violence stops. To find out how, call 1-800-799-SAFE for a free brochure.
If you could harness all the creative energy here, imagine if you could capture all the wisdom here. Imagine if you could feel all the spirit, all the enthusiasm, all the hope. Life is full of energy, and Texaco knows that the greatest energy of all is human.
Some people you could always count on to be there for you. We were there when you fixed up your first car. And when you fixed up your first apartment. We were even there when you finally got fixed up yourself. So now that you're fixing more bottles than old cars, there's no one better to talk to about your changing life insurance needs than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
Whenever you need information or just a little magic.
Can I get your number sometime and call you?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Great.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah!
Instead of 411, AT&T customers can dial 00.
AT&T 00 Info, how can I help you?
I'm looking for Carla Young, but the number's all a blur. You gotta hook me up.
Found her.
You found her?
I can connect you at no additional charge.
Oh, yeah.
Now for any number anywhere, just dial 00.
You know.
And welcome back to America's Black Forum. We're talking with Congressman Charles Rangel. The federal review process, what's your comfort level that something will take place?
I think it has to take place. I think there has to be a monitoring. Some guidelines have to take place. You know, at the very best for the city, the police were undertrained and did not react in a professional way. But I think if you take a look at some of the other things that have happened where Abner Louima was sodomized in a police station and no one seemed to know what was going on, the recent killing of an unarmed man, Patrick Dorisman, you see a trend that's going on, and you see a mayor that appears as though that he will be supporting the police without investigation. And I think the federal government, as they did in the South, have to set a standard, a national standard.
The mayor doesn't seem to have ever seen a case of police brutality or police shooting that he couldn't justify in some way or the other. How is this controversy, particularly over the Dorisman case, how is that affecting his race for the Senate against Hillary Clinton?
Even his strongest supporters are shocked with his lack of sensitivity and very, very poor judgment. He may be a tough mayor, but they don't want to see that quality in someone that they're sending to Washington as a United States Senator. So he's dropped dramatically in the polls.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you know, I'm not so concerned about the Senate race in the future for Rudy Giuliani. I'm concerned about the legacy. The fact is he has revolutionized the city and turned around the city. And unfortunately, because he is not in tune with certain segments of the community and more sensitive with these communities, he is unfortunately pouring sand on his own good legacy in terms of lowering crime. Not only that, the facts of the matter is there's perception and reality. The perception is that, you know, New York City cops are out of control. The reality is this. Last year, 11 civilians were shot and killed by police officers. In 1990, under Mayor David Dinkins, the first black mayor elected, 44 civilians were shot and killed. The number of civilians, the number of bullets shot by cops has gone down per capita by some 50 to 60%. It's lower than other cities.
Congressman, the final 30 seconds.
Under the Dinkins administration, it started going down and it continued to go down. Second, the dramatic decrease in crime doesn't mean there has to be a dramatic increase in the shooting of unarmed type of people. The fear that I have is that no police department can be effective without the support of the community. And that, to me, is where the mayor's biggest threat and the biggest fears that I have. If the police don't feel comfortable in walking the streets in which they courageously offer their lives each and every day, then the mayor has set something into place that I really think that even he would regret the rest of his life.
I think we would all be in agreement on that.
Yeah. And I was going to say on that last point, and we certainly don't want to give the impression that we're not sensitive to the daily trials and tribulations and life-threatening situations of the police as well, but there's got to be some sanity in this process.
Exactly.
Congressman Rangel, thank you so very much.
Thanks for being here.
Good to have you here again. And also, we certainly thank the parents of Amadou Diallo, Mr. and Ms. Diallo indeed. And we thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week on another edition of America's Black Forum. America's Black Forum has been brought to you by AT&T.